day, everybody, and welcome to our review discussion on the topic parts of speech. Let me now introduce to you our third part of speech, which is the adjectives. For our third part of speech, the adjectives, let us know an adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun or pronoun. So one adjective can change the meaning of a word sentence or the whole sentence rather. It also asks the questions what kind, which one, how many, and how much. Miss, what do you mean that an adjective could change the whole meaning of the sentence? Let us see the example. We have here two different adjectives, the boring and the exciting. The first sentence is written as, it was a boring day. The second, it was an exciting day. So you could see how two varied adjectives are used in the two sentences and how the meaning of the two sentences are different. Okay? So an adjective can tell what kind, which one, or how many, right? One should not use too many adjectives in the sentence. Yes, adjectives are powerful. Yet, we should be very cautious in using them. For example, the fierce, ugly, old brown tiger. Somehow, it is not pleasing to the eyes and it is not pleasing to the ears of someone you are talking with or someone who is reading what you have written. Because for us, in order to effectively use adjectives, we should follow some orders. Ano yung orders, miss? Okay? Here, we have this. To make a perfect sentence, one should follow the following order. As written here in our slide, we should first give the quality, followed with the size, the texture, duration, color, type, or origin. Miss, should we use them all? Nope. Whatever you want to use, just make sure that it is in this order. But you don't have to apply or to use all of this. Okay? So, what is lacking here? Of course, the very first one you must use is the determiner or the articles. Ano yon? We have the, the, an, a, and etc. Those are our determiners or article. After the determiner or articles, let's then proceed with the quality, the size, the texture, duration, color, and the type or origin. Let's see the two different or two varied sentences wherein we have applied and we have not applied the order. First one, the yellow big beach shiny ball. The yellow big beach shiny ball. If you are the one reading this or hearing this, you still have to process your imagination to get whatever he or she is trying to say, right? But if we follow the order for the second sentence, let's hear it. The big shiny yellow beach ball. You could really see or you could really imagine what he or she is trying to tell you, right? That is the magic of the order of adjectives. So let us proceed with our next slide for the points to remember. First, possessive pronouns can be also used as adjectives. Really, miss? How? This is his book. His here is not referring or not used as a pronoun directing to a subject, but it is used as a possessive pronoun modifying to the noun book. Okay? This is his book. It modifies the noun book. So its function is not to replace the noun but to modify a noun book. Okay? This is his book. So let us proceed. Articles are always adjectives. As I've mentioned earlier, articles, determiners, these are the very first adjective that we should use. So they modify nouns and pronouns. The, a, and an are called articles. So, example, the two dark cats were walking on the fence. The here is an adjective that modifies the noun cats. Okay? What are the other articles? Let's see. We have the adjective to. Later on, we will know what kind of adjective the to is. Okay? To here is an adjective because it modifies the noun cat's tail and answers the question, how many? Okay? Meaning, miss, if I guess it's a countable noun, you're correct. But later, let's discuss that. Next, we have the adjective dark. It is an adjective because it modifies our noun cats and answers the question, what kind? A type, okay, or a quality. Sige. So, let us proceed with our next slide. For another example, we have the chocolate one is his two last cookies. Ano kaya yung mga adjectives natin dito? So, we have the adjective here is the word chocolate. Okay? Miss, I thought chocolate is a noun. Yes, it's a noun, but it would change depending on the use of the sentence or the usage of that word in the sentence. The chocolate one is his two last cookies. So here, the word chocolate, because it modifies the pronoun one and is an article. Chocolate, adjective, because it modifies he pronoun one or the pronoun one rather and tells what kind. What kind of cookies? The chocolate one. Okay? So let us proceed with another one. His here is an adjective as well. How? Because it is a possessive pronoun that modifies the noun cookie and answers the question, which one? So the chocolate one is his two last cookies. So it could really see, or we could really see how complicated these parts of speech are. But if we try to really dig deeper into their functions in the sentences, we could easily get them. Okay? So let us proceed with here, the word last. The word last here could be an adjective in a sense that it modifies the noun cookie as well. And it answers the question, which one? Okay? His last cookie. Okay? So let me proceed with the kinds of adjectives. Very easy. So we have your qualitative adjectives, your adjective of quantity, but for me, for it to be easy, we combine the adjective of quantity and adjective of number. Okay, they are just somewhat alike. It's just that number are more countable than the quantity. Next, we have your distributive adjective. And lastly, your interrogative adjective. So let me have this one. Okay, let's proceed with the slide. So qualitative adjectives, it describes an object by telling us what quality or what sort, in what state the object is. So usually, it is or it gives us adjectives that are based on observations. Okay? For example, here, perseverance is a positive virtue. What quality? What quality of virtue? A positive one. Okay, so it's a quality. And encouragement is an inspiring motivation. So we have your adjective inspiring. Okay, Miss, I thought ing has something to do with adverbs. Class, please see the function of the word in the sentence. Okay, so qualitative adjectives is telling us of what quality or sort or state of an object is. Okay? Next is adjective of quantity. Ano naman yung adjective of quantity? An adjective of quantity shows how much of a thing is meant. Okay? For example, I did not eat any bread. there is little sugar in the pot. So we have here the adjective little. Okay? What else are our adjective of quantity? We have um every. Okay? I mean much. What else? Abundant. Okay, there are lots. Whole, all, few, several, most, enough, little, sparse. Those are just few examples of adjective of quantity. Okay? So they are, or let us try to combine it with adjective of number. So ano naman yung number, miss? So an adjective of number shows how many persons or things are meant or in what order a person or thing stands. For example, a month has 4 weeks. An octopus has 8 arms. So we have here countable adjective of number. So it tells us how many or how much they are followed by a noun. Okay, and usually followed by a noun. Okay, next, we have your demonstrative adjective. Ano naman yung demonstrative adjective, class? So, a demonstrative adjective points out which person or thing is meant. Okay, just like in pronoun, we have your demonstrative pronoun. But here, these are used as an adjective to modify a noun or pronoun. So, we have your those viewpoints are profound. So, it modifies the noun viewpoints. Those viewpoints are profound. Okay? Miss, how would we know or how are we gonna identify demonstrative adjective from demonstrative pronoun? So all we have to remember, class, is it follows a noun, okay? The demonstrative adjective. For example, another example. We bought these candles for her birthday. We bought these candles for her birthday. Which candle? These candles. Okay? So that is for our demonstrative adjective. So all we have to remember, class, demonstrative adjectives modify the noun. Demonstrative pronoun replaces the noun. Okay? Demonstrative adjectives are followed by a noun. Demonstrative pronouns are not followed usually by a noun. Demonstrative adjectives, lastly, are not followed by the main verb. But demonstrative pronoun are often followed by the main verb. Those are the points we have to remember if ever we find them confusing. Okay? Next one is our interrogative adjectives. So, an interrogative adjective is used with nouns to ask questions. For example, which notebook will they show you? Whose pen will they bring to you? Miss, di ba we also use which and whose in interrogative pronouns? Class, interrogative adjectives. The difference is that it will help to find answers to the questions people ask, right? These are often used along with nouns to ask questions such as where, who, how, why, and which. And such words are words to determine the sentence completely in terms of questioning. So, for here, we have which notebook will they show you? It follows a noun. Whose pen will they bring to you? Okay? It follows a noun. And the which and whose here are modifying the person next to the noun. Okay? Or modifying the noun next to it. Sige? So, let us proceed or let me give you the last example. What kind of plan did you create? Okay? What is our interrogative adjective? And it follows the noun kind. Okay? What kind of plan did you create? Sige? So so let's have here the location of adjective. So adjectives can be located in three places, okay, of a sentence. So let's see. The most common location is directly in front of the noun it is modifying. Okay, so that is the very easy spot for an adjective in order for you to easily see it. It is usually or commonly in front of the noun it is modifying. Next, the dedicated professor. An enriching experience. Here, professor is described as a dedicated one. Dedicated professor. Next, what kind of experience? Enriching. Okay, so we see here adjectives in front of the noun it is modifying. Next one. Another location is after a linking verb or verb of condition. These are called predicate adjectives. Let's see. Example. The topic is interesting. It follows a linking verb. An a meaningful experience is significant. Okay, it follows as well a verb. Okay, next for the third one, the final location of adjectives occurs after a noun when it is set off by commas. Okay, take note of that. So for our example, the book, well written and suspenseful, kept my interest. So it could be following a noun and set off by commas. Okay, so these are just few of the locations wherein you could find the adjectives. And we have here adjective forming suffixes. Ano nga yung suffixes? These are the part or the added word to the root word in the end. Okay? You have your full, the less, the OUS, the Y, the ish. Okay? These are just few of the suffixes. Kindly read lang or kindly take note of these examples. Okay, before we end, we have skipped this number 5, which is the fifth function of adjective, which is our distributive adjective. So a distributive adjective class denotes that the persons or things named in the sentence are taken singularly, separately, or in separate lots. For example, every day is a new day. So, distributive adjective generally used to distribute a particular group as an individual and is used with a singular noun respectively. For example, tell me every single detail. We have the adjective, distributive adjective every, followed with a singular, okay, singular which is literal as well, the word single, detail. Okay? It follows with a, or it denotes with either a person or a thing. Okay? That is singular in the sentence. Next. Both situations. Okay? Either you believe me or leave me. Okay? So we have here the word either as your distributive adjective. So that is for our adjective. Let us now proceed with our fourth part of speech, which is the verb. So ano naman yung verb, class? Verbs are the action words in a sentence that describe what the subject is doing. Along with nouns, verbs are the main part of sentence or phrase, telling a story about what is taking place. Okay? In fact, without a verb, full thoughts can't be properly conveyed, and even the simplest sentences, such as Maria sings, okay, have one. Actually, a verb can be a sentence by itself with the subject. In most cases, you implied such as sing, drive. These are already sentences. And we have only used a verb word, right? These are somewhat an exclamatory sentence. Okay? Let us see here some of the functions and the types of the verbs. But let us start with here. Verbs almost always come after a noun or pronoun. These nouns and pronouns are referred to as the subject. Remember, with your noun as a subject, usually it refers or it is the one doing the action word. So therefore, usually it is or our verb is located after the subject. Okay? But not all the time. The verb thought comes after the noun Jack. So the action Jack as the subject was taking or thinking verb. Okay? We have here, for example, Mark eats his dinner quickly. We have your verb eats. Who is the one doing the verb eats? It's Mark. Mark is our subject. Next, we went to the market. Went is our verb. You write neatly in your notebook. They thought about all the prizes in the competition. Okay, these are the one that were darkened and emphasized. These are our action words or verbs. Sige. Let us proceed with our next slide, which is the types of verb. So we have 4 types of verbs: the transitive, intransitive, auxiliary, and the modal. Actually, they are quite long, but let's just go with them one by one very shortly. Let us have your transitive verb first. Ano yung transitive verb? So, transitive verb class are action verbs that always express doable activities, okay, that relate or affect someone or something else in the sentence. For example, love, respect, tolerate, believe, maintain. These are our transitive verbs. So, ano pa? For example, we have here, he kicked John. John punches him. They sold the tickets. So these are the examples of verbs used with both direct and indirect objects. Okay? Next, ito. They sell him the tickets. In this sentence, the tickets are the direct object while him is our indirect object. Okay? Ano yung him? The one to whom the action is intended to. Yung direct object is the one receiving the action. Okay, so we have ticket as receiving and him as the to where the action is intended for. Okay, next, Mary baked her mother a pie. So in this sentence, a pie is our direct object while her mother is the indirect object. Okay? So I know for sure that you have already known this because we have in-depthly discussed that on our nouns. Okay? So let us proceed with the intransitive verb. Ano naman yung intransitive verb, class? So intransitive verbs are action verbs that always express doable activities as well. They are different from the transitive verbs because there is no direct object following an intransitive verb. That is the one that you must always remember. Intransitive verb does not need a direct object. So we have your walk, laugh, cough, play, run, for example. And this is the example sentence. The baby smiled. The intransitive verb is smiled. The subject is baby because baby is the one who is smiling and there is no direct object that is receiving the action of the verb, right? The baby smiled. If ever we try to change the sentence, the baby smiled to her mother. That is the time that it's not a transitive verb na because we already have direct object na. Right? But if the sentence, the baby smiled, smiled there is an intransitive verb. Okay? Next. For the third one, we have your auxiliary verb. Ano naman yung auxiliary verb natin? Auxiliary verbs are also known as helping verbs. and are used together with main verb to show the verb's tense or to form a question or negative. Common examples of auxiliary verbs include have, might, will. These auxiliary verbs give some context to the main verb. For example, letting the reader know when the action took place. So these are the examples: would, should, do, can, and did. Diba? We would know if the sentence is past na, usually, or present because of the verbs. And one of the helping verbs that help us identify the duration or the time or the tenses of the sentence are our auxiliary verb. So auxiliary verb or helping verbs as well help the main verb to denote the actions of the subject. They help in making compound sentences or tenses of the main verb and also help in making negative statements as mentioned earlier. And also passive voice statements. Okay? Ano ba yung ibang example? We use be. Usually, it is used, be, used as an auxiliary and a full verb sometimes. It can distinguish between the two uses of the auxiliary be. Will always have another main verb coming after it in a sentence. We also have your will. The verb will is the only auxiliary verb that can never be a main verb. Okay? So, it is always used as an auxiliary to make future tenses, right? I will return. Uh, I will take a picture of you tomorrow. Okay? So, and a lot more of auxiliary verbs. So, I will go home after football practice. So, the auxiliary verb here, will, is telling us that action or the action of the main verb, go, is going to take place in the future pa, after football practice has ended. So, if the auxiliary verb, will, was removed, we get the sentence still Japon, right? For the fourth one, the modals. This is one of my favorite topics when I was in high school. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that are used to express abilities, possibilities, permissions, and obligations. This is where usually people, if they are not mistaken with the pronunciation of this and that, they are mistaken or they usually make mistakes in using modals. Okay? There are some people who felt disrespected because of the improper use of modals. Okay, let's see. We have he can shoot a 3-point shot easily. The modal verb can is expressing an ability, suggesting that shooting a 3-point shot is a skill the subject possesses. He can, meaning it only shows that he has the ability, he has the capability of doing that. He can. If ever, I will change the sentence into he should shoot a 3-point shot. He should shoot a 3-point shot, period. Therefore, I am indicating, okay,